what Kaspa really is. What does it mean for the people right now, for the whole industry, for the blockchain?
Kaspa is a new layer one. It's not that new anymore. I need to get used to it. But it is an L1 that applies a new technology, a new protocol called the GHOSTDAG. And it's a community project. It's completely fair launched. There was no pre-allocations, no pre-mining. A lot of thought was put into the launch model and how to make sure the coin is as equally spread as possible. And beyond that, it's a brand new technology that has achieved some holy grails that were never achieved before. For once, it's you can say that it's a true trilemma solver, and I know a lot of people say it, and a lot of people are skeptical. So if any one of the listeners, watchers is skeptical, I challenge them to give it an hour of research before dismissing me. We managed to upscale the transaction throughput to the theoretical limit, meaning that it's only limited by hardware. We managed to scale down confirmation time, how long you want to wait for confirmation, to its theoretical limit, which is the network delay. And all of this, again, is pure proof of work, no tricks, the same simpleness and the same ideas using Bitcoin. And only it's a very slight and gentle generalization of Bitcoin, but it's just a very correct one. Other than that, we realized as we went along that it affords solutions to a lot of other problems. The high parallelism has very nice effects. Essentially, the fact that a miner has only partial knowledge of the state that's going to be created after this block is accepted allows us to do stuff like have a better fee market than Bitcoin or other chains and provide the first game theoretical solution to miner extractable value. So it's really hard to define, but it's everything. It's the new protocol, it's the other innovations, it's the approach, it's the open community project, and it's the huge, devout and very passionate community of people.
Can you explain maybe the main use case of this Kaspa network? I mean, why people or industry needs one more solution?
I think what we want to build is the ultimate layer one. We want to build the layer ones that could do all the things other layer ones do combined. Just think that if we could solve a lot of the inherent problems in Bitcoin that previous layer ones only solves partially, if we can provide a full quality solution and a very good implementation and in practice proof that it works, then we're actually starting to throwing back enterprise and corporate players that tried to use crypto in the past and found that its performance is lacking. And I think you could do, right now, there are still infrastructure works to be done. One of the two main topics on the horizon are smart contracts and MEV resistance. And once these are available, it will just be the ultimate layer one. Everything you can do with a layer one, you would do with this layer one.
You know, we spoke a lot about layer one, but can you explain what does it mean, layer one?
Layer one is like what Bitcoin is. It's an independent network with its own technology, with its own state. It doesn't rely on the existence of any other network to run. It's independent. A layer one is essentially a consensus. It's something that allows you to reach an agreement, assuming there is an honest or rational majority. It allows you to reach a worldwide agreement. That's what it is. That's what Bitcoin does. That's what Ethereum does. And this is what Kaspa does. The reason I think people would prefer Kaspa is because the high throughput makes it much cheaper to use. Low latency makes it much more reactive, provides much better user experience.
Okay, who is the target audience who can implement Kaspa network or use it in some way? Let's say someone from structure for the banks or for the final customers. How do end customers and people can use it?
Well, first of all, you can just download a wallet and get some Kaspa and enjoy seeing how fast you can just transfer it around. There are already some places in the world that accept Kaspa. I do some of my shopping with Kaspa. Not enough, but we're working on it. It's really fun to see that you pay someone Kaspa and the money actually goes through faster than if you'd paid them with a credit card, if they had a credit card terminal. And people can experiment with this right now. Other than that, there is also a KRC20 network. Because it's a community project, there isn't like a team. A completely independent team from China called Kasplex funded by from the Kaspa Ecosystem Foundation, which is again a foundation that was created independently and by people who wanted to develop Kaspa. And it's not going to be the only foundation too. There is also the Kaspa Industrial Initiative and some other things that are being drawn up. It's not the same under the hood, but it provides a similar functionality to the PLC network that you have on Bitcoin. It doesn't give you ordinals, it works differently, but it does allow you to mint coins. It launched, not the beta launch, but the main launch, what happened a few weeks ago, don't exactly remember when. More than 100 coins were deployed at the same day, and the network was completely bombarded. We had queues of 100,000 transactions and more because of the congestion, and the network operated in 270 to 300 transactions per second for 24 hours. And I'm talking about the mainnet, right? It wasn't a test. And the mainnet processed 23 million transactions during this time, which is, I think, more than twice more than the theoretical limit that Ethereum could do. And we've seen that everything worked just fine. There was a lot of delay because the network was congested, but from the layer one point of view, people are running nodes. Now, the thing is, you want the nodes to be cheap to run. People are running nodes on the Raspberry Pis, on old iPhones, on hardware which costs as much as $100. Even with the 300 transactions per second throughput and queues of 100,000 transactions, there were no problem reported. I'll tell you more than that. Our mainnet works on a 1 block per second, but we already have a testnet that's been running for 9 months openly, and anyone can join. People are joining in, creating nodes, destroying nodes, throttling the hash rate and doing stuff just to see if things will break. 10 blocks per second, 3,000 transactions per second, full load, still running perfectly on 100 bucks hardware. This is like the great appeal here.
What do you think, how it can change the people's life, if it will be implemented and if it will become a worldwide, or it will gain the same popularity than an Ethereum or Solana, etc.?
So first of all, it will be layer one that is much cheaper to use than Ethereum or Solana. It would be much cheaper to participate in, because running an Ethereum or Solana validator requires very expensive hardware. I heard somewhere, I haven't verified, I don't know if it's true, but I heard somewhere that Solana is applying so much pressure on the disk. Even if you have to use like RAID arrays and expensive disks. And even then, as they burn out like once a year, you have to replace your hard drive because of all this I/O pressure. Kaspa would provide similar functionality, similar throughput, similar performance, but would require much cheaper hardware and would be easier to implement over. And another aspect is the mining. Because in Kaspa we have such a high block rate, it puts the whole miner back on the center. Think about it. If Bitcoin creates 144 blocks per day, Bitcoin network can support at most 144 miners or pools that see a revenue every day. Kaspa, which the crescendo hard fork is not scheduled yet, but it's going to be in the within a few months, it's going to bring us to 10 blocks per second, 864,000 blocks a day. And people say that ASIC mining is an economy of scale, which is true, but going to 6,000 blocks more means you scale it down by 6,000. And consequently, we see that even though the mining is very, very popular and the hash rate is insane, we just reached 1 exahash. Now, if I remember correctly, a single Kaspa hash is about as expensive as 20 Bitcoin hashes. 1 exahash of Kaspa in CapEx is equivalent to about 20 exahash of Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin right now has about 600 exahash. It's about 1 in 300. But the fact that it's even starting to see the orders of magnitude of the Big Daddy shows us that there is something very, very strong here. There are Kaspa ASICs in productions for like a year and a half now. So we get to talk with retailers and get their impression. And they're telling us, look, in other coins, whenever there is a new, bigger, better mining machine, everyone forgets about the old machines because all of the customers are enterprise who just want to buy the best machines. And in Kaspa, even though there are big machines which are more efficient, the small home miner, which only costs, I think, like 600 or 700 bucks, is still the most popular product, because even though it's that cheap, you only need one of them to see steady revenue, even if you're solo mining.